Anyone from the public? Public comment? No? All right. Moving on to old business 25-3399-01 Educational Choice for Children Act. If we remember, this was brought forward by member Bolich, and I would like to invite Jess Plowman up from the Illinois Policy Institute to say a few words before we take action. Good morning, Ms. Plowman.
Good morning. So my name is Jess Plowman. Like Dylan Sharkey, who was here last month, I work for the Illinois Policy Institute. But one of the reasons that I wanted to be here today is because I am also a resident of Will County. I live right here in Joliet, just across the street from Crest Hill. I'm here to ask for your support for this referendum because I believe it will help the children of Will County. The Federal Scholarship Tax Credit Act, or FSTC, that is a name change from the ECCA that it was originally introduced under, has already been passed. We don't have any further say in the program's existence or how it works. What we do have say in is whether or not any of that money will be coming back to the children of Will County. By opting into this program, students who need extra support in school will have access to the same resources, regardless of their family's financial backgrounds and regardless of which method of education is working best for them. Unlike previous school scholarship programs, this includes public school students, and I believe that they will be one of the greatest benefactors of introducing a program like this. Remember, the program already exists. If we want any of that money to come back to public school students in Will County, we will need to opt into this program. And if you have more questions on how that works or what that looks like, we can talk about that. This referendum is vital because it's the only point from here on out that the citizens of Will County will have a democratic voice in this process. Although the rules are still being written by the Treasury Department, the odds are high that Governor J.B. Pritzker will be making the call on whether this program stays or goes by himself. There could be some exceptions to that are still being developed.
Same.
But I hope that won't be true by the end of this. There could be some exceptions to that, but odds are Governor Pritzker will be making this call on his own. So how do we inject a sense of democracy into that decision? How do we give the voters of Will County a voice in whether this program is adopted by Illinois or not? We do that through a referendum. I truly believe this is one of the most important referendums procedurally that we've had, because rather than just basically being a public opinion poll that then needs to go through the regular legislative process, this is an opportunity for voters to comment, inform Governor Pritzker directly on what they believe the state of Illinois should do, and it will be their only opportunity to do that. We don't believe that Governor Pritzker should be making this decision in a vacuum without hearing from voters, and a referendum is actually the only tool we have to be able to do that. I believe the people of Will County will show their support for this program given the opportunity to vote on it, because regardless of what voters say in March and regardless of what Pritzker decides, by 2027, this tax credit will be available to all taxpayers, including taxpayers here in Illinois. And I believe that the best way to protect our education system, especially our public education system here in Illinois, is by ensuring that some of that money that is going to go toward these programs anyway will come back to students in Illinois. Without opting in, that will not happen. The taxpayers will still get their same tax break, but it will be students in other states who take advantage. Students in other states who get the benefits. We should not publish our neighbors for decisions that we dislike in Washington. We should be taking action to provide the most resources for the students who are right here in Will County. We should be taking action to ensure that your financial situation is not the determinator of the outcome of your education. And we should give a voice to the people of Will County in whether or not they agree with my opinion of this, that this would be a good thing. Even if you don't agree that this is a good thing, it was clear from the last meeting that one thing nobody thinks is that this is unimportant. And because nobody thinks it's unimportant, our voters should have a say in it at the ballot box. Thank you.
Thank you. Looking for a motion to put this on the floor for discussion. Motion Butler. Second Oxley. Discussion, I have Member Hickey first.
Hi, good morning, Jess. I have several questions, but I want to talk about some of the things that you just said. First of all, I noticed that you were singling Governor Pritzker out. All governors are the ones who are making the decision to opt in or not, correct? Okay,
Make the decision here in Illinois.
right, but that's not an anomaly. That's across the board.
Oh,
for
of
all
course.
states. Okay. And this is people's only voice. People have a voice through their legislative representatives. So, I mean, they are represented in Springfield. So, you know, how we weigh in on this, I'm not entirely sure is appropriate, but I am concerned because I don't want to leave money on the table. I hear what you're saying. These are donation-based, correct?
What do you mean by donation based?
The tax credit is completely dependent upon whether you choose to donate or not.
Well, yes. So taxpayers can choose to donate, and then that money will be received by SGOs, scholarship granting organizations, who will then distribute it to students as long as they're. So let me go back actually and address also what you said about their representatives in Springfield, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. From what we know of how the rules are written for adopting this so far, the odds are high that the legislative body will not have a say in whether or not this is adopted. It is
There are two pieces of legislation, at least that I saw last night, that are actually moving through Springfield. Is that not correct?
not that I've been
Representative
aware of.
Daisy,
It could have come up without my knowing.
Um,
But it will be the Treasury that writes the rules on how states adopt. And if the Treasury says the governors make the call on whether or not to opt in, I'm not sure what, like I said, those rules are still under consideration. But from what we've heard so far, I'm not sure that other than just expressing support in the same way that this referendum would, that the legislature, we can't guarantee that the legislature will have a say because it's
Okay.
the Treasury making that call.
There are two. One is HB 4099, and then Representative Davis has also, Jed Davis has also, from Shorewood, has also put in a bill. So, or not Shorewood, I'm sorry.
And
Um,
again, I don't know the details of those legislation, but it could be
Okay,
a
but there
voicing
is,
of support for the governor, basically saying like, hey, we're behind this or we're not behind this. But it's the Treasury who will write the rules on how it actually gets adopted.
Correct.
And from everything we've heard so far, it will probably be ultimately the governor's call.
it is the governor's
Yeah,
call. That is
okay.
the way it's written. For now, like you said, we
Yeah.
do not have Treasury Department guidance on what the final regulations are going to be. And so my understanding is a household will decide to donate or not. So if they give $1,700 for individuals, $3,400 for households filing jointly, then that money is distributed to the SGO, the Scholarship Granting Organization. And the scholarship granting organization then can withhold 10% of those funds in administrative fees. Is that correct?
Yes, to qualify, well, that is the maximum. So to qualify as an SGO, you cannot dedicate more than 10% of the total revenues you take in to anything other than scholarships. So 90% of all the funds you take in have to go directly to students.
Okay. I think 100% of the funds that we pay to our taxing bodies for schools go to the schools. But so are the funds available for homeschoolers, micro schoolers,
Yes.
preschool?
There are, I'm not sure about preschool. I believe it's K through 12. But this is universal across any type of schooling that you might be doing.
Okay, that is not anywhere in the literature that I saw. It actually said that that has not been determined yet. And so people will be donating. If they choose to donate and say they have a student who has educational needs that fit the Coverdell criteria, which is what the Treasury Department is following for what are acceptable expenses for this money. So they give the money, they have a kid with needs, and the kid then has to apply to the scholarship granting organization.
So you're talking about a family with a student with needs who's donating to the organization? Well, yes, but in most cases, those are going to be two separate families. You will have people who are donating because they believe in the program, and then you will have students who are in need. And the reason for that is because there is an income threshold to accepting the scholarship.
300% of,
Yes.
300% of the local median income.
Right,
correct?
yes.
Okay, so that's about 90% of the households in Will County. Will County, our private school costs are around $9,000, which is a bargain compared to the rest of Illinois, which is around $12,000 per year. So how much is each student that applies? Because I'm assuming that if they're applying, that means that some will be granted and some will not be granted. How much will each student be receiving?
That is up to the scholarship granting organizations. It's stuff that they will decide.
And are there any limitations that the governor can put on this as far as any concerns about whether or not the scholarship granting organization is, following discriminatory practices against the LGBTQ community or?
So that is two things on that. One, that is one of the most watched rules that still needs to be decided by the Treasury. There will be, the specific wording of it is not on paper yet. But one of the things that I believe you all received in an email from my colleague, Jim Long, is that one of the reasons we want this on the ballot so early is so that more organizations can apply to be scholarship granting organizations. So for example, because of the way these programs were previously set up, most of, and because of the way Invest in Kids was set up, frankly, most of our extant scholarship granting organizations are only used to working with private schools. So they're going to have to determine how they sort of fold in all these newly eligible students. Now, one of the solutions that we'd like to propose to that, which this was in the email from Jim that I believe you got, is that we want to encourage all public school foundations in Illinois to apply as scholarship granting organizations. So that would be here in Will County. The Joliet Foundation for Educational Excellence is an organization that is already granting grants for public education here in Will County. If
Okay.
they applied as an SGO under this thing, they would be eligible for those federal dollars and could distribute them to students.
And yet what I hear you saying is that even if Will County families donate to this program, the money is not necessarily going to stay in Will County.
Well, it definitely won't stay in Will County if we
Okay.
don't opt in.
Okay.
It will that money will still go out of Will County, but it has no option of coming back if
But
we don't
even-
opt in.
I'm sorry, even if this governor opts in, that money is not earmarked for Will County. Is that
No,
correct?
if we opt in, then we
Okay.
give the local organization, the Public School Foundation, an opportunity to apply as an SGO. And if we do that and other states don't have that granular local level of application, then probably more of the money is going to us just by virtue of the fact that we have more organizations who are eligible for
Okay,
it.
I appreciate that. And believe
Mm-hmm.
me, I would love to do everything we can to enrich our public school education. And I'm also, I'm asking these questions because
Yeah.
I am a fan of looking at other ways to support our educational needs in our state. I think that, it's less than equitable to have local property taxes be the only venue in order to get some funds to the schools. And, schools end up having to cut programming like arts and music because they're financially strained. But I'm hearing a lot of question marks, and I know that you all really want this on the primary ballot and that we have a December 30th deadline. Is it 29th or 30th? I can't remember.
I don't know.
Okay, so I realize that that's the issue, but I'm thinking that there are other mechanisms for our constituents to be able to voice their opinions by directly petitioning the governor, by, going through the state legislature. There are other ways. And honestly, the 10th Amendment says that this is a state's issue. So I kind of really would like to leave it to the state. And if that's the governor acting independently as this, are in this regulations, then I think that that's what we need to do. So I would like to press pause on this because I don't necessarily know that we have enough information to put this out to referendum.
I would say that a referendum, for all of the things that you just brought up about being concerned about, people having a voice in the matter, I can't think of anything more direct or official than asking the voters at the ballot box. That would be my opinion.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Moving on, Mr. Balich.
Yeah, I got a question for you. How many counties and townships have already passed a resolution to put it on the ballot?
This is something I should definitely know, but I don't know. We've been going to so many and I'm not sure which ones are
Last
official
I
yet.
heard was 11 counties and over 20 townships.
Yeah, it has been a lot.
And that was 2 weeks ago. So, I'm just saying, we're not the only county involved, the only county asking for this. And the reality of it is when we're talking about this, if we don't opt in, that means that you're voting not to allow this program to take place in Illinois, period. We got to get the governor, we have to do a referendum to get the governor to opt in. If we don't want to do a referendum to get the governor to opt in, the odds are that the governor's not going to opt in. Even if everyone does it, will the governor opt in? We don't know. But I sure in heck don't want to be the person to stop a program like this from coming in if it's not going to cost the county anything to add a referendum. So, all we're doing is saying, let's help all the children, all of them, public school, private school, homeschool. Let's help all of them, any child that needs money. So right now, they got rid of Invest in Children and that was all like private schools and stuff like that. Well, this isn't like that. This is for all, A-L-L, all children. So that means that if you need a tutor, there's a lot of people that can't afford the cost of food, gas. Well, gas is going, thank God it's going down, but they can't afford to buy stuff that they normally would. The taxes keep going up, except we got a zero levy. So thank God we didn't do it to them. But the schools, they keep raising it a lot. So now when people don't have any money, how do they buy a tutor or pay for a tutor? How do you pay for a tutor? You can't. So you're hurting that child. This program allows you to pay for a tutor. And when we're talking about the groups that can give the money, we got a paper here with 2 sheets of groups. And out of these 2 sheets, I would bet most all of them qualify to do the money. And people can say no, but what are the qualifications? They just have to take the money and be recognized by the federal government so that they're not going to steal the money. That's all. It's not that hard. So if we're the county say no, we're saying no to the option that we might be able to convince the governor to go ahead and sign this bill and get it for all the children. And if we say no, why are we talk about kids all the time, and then when something comes up that you can help the kids, everybody's like, well, wait a minute, we can't do this because, well, the state doesn't pay any money, either does the county, and it's already passed, so we can't determine any of the parameters. The Treasury Department's going to determine the parameters. And Jess has done an excellent job explaining this, but I don't understand the opposition, because it's like, opposition to what? Helping children? I've never, ever heard such ridiculous things in this room. We're opposed to helping children. I was here, we got to do this because the poor people need help. Now we're saying people don't need help for their kids. Let them figure it out.
Steve, I don't think everybody.
I'm gonna stop, but I'm just saying, this is like, to me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like something that we should just do because it's the right thing to do. That's it.
I just want to warn you that, when we say we, there was only one comment made so far, but as a board, it is up to the committee. So, yeah. Okay. Understood. Okay, three more listed at least. I have Freeman, Trenier, and then Butler. So Micah Freeman?
Thank you. So I do have a question for you, ma'am. I have to direct it to the speaker, though. I'm working on protocol here. So right now, the few SGOs that disperse money in our region in 2023, less than 10% of their money came to our region. So I am curious, with the passing of this, what percentage will be coming to Will County? Is it possible to get an answer on that?
I don't believe it is possible because it will depend on the actions of SGOs that don't exist yet, most likely. I will say, I believe it will go up because under this program, public schools are eligible as well. If we have time for a quick story, I interviewed a child 2 years ago when we were talking about Invest in Kids. His name is George Kokuro. At the time, he was a freshman at Joliet West. He at the time was interested in possibly transferring to Joliet Catholic Academy because of one class. He had heard that that Joliet Catholic Academy was offering an elective course dedicated for students who want to go into pre-law, and he wanted to go into pre-law, and he wanted that class. And because of that, he was trying to get a scholarship to go to Joliet Catholic Academy. So here's my vision for this program, the way it works now, is that George Kokuro, if those scholarships were applicable for public school students as well, he wouldn't need to be looking into transferring schools. He could enroll in an extracurricular program that was dedicated toward this, a summer program that was dedicated toward pre-law. He could enroll in tutoring that would help him with pre-law. So I do believe that there are, just because of the expanded number of students, that those numbers would, who are eligible, that those numbers would change dramatically.
So I have, since this was brought up, Mr. Speaker, I have reached out to some superintendents, some educators, a gentleman with the unions. And what I'm hearing from the public school system is they don't think this is going to benefit them. They feel that this is going to take money away from them. They feel that public education is being attacked, which I have to agree with them on that at this point, especially with this, what's going on with the Department of Education. And I also agree that there are pieces of legislation at work in our state. I do believe that we can put this as a referendum on, and our residents are going to have to do research and figure out what it is, only to find out that it's just an advisory thing. It's just to say yes or no. And that's what we have emails for, and that's what we have phone calls for, is to reach out to our legislators to let them know. I heard 11, was it 11 counties have put this on? And just out of, to put that into perspective, there is 102 counties in our state. So that's a very small percentage. I think that we need to leave this up to the legislators. I think we need to leave this up to our governor. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the committee, Member Trenier.
Thank you, Speaker Van Dyne. As someone who's been involved in advisory referendums, I don't recommend them. You can win them by 80% of the vote, and it means nothing. I would really like to see us continue to lobby and work with our legislators to improve funding for education. I would like to know, however, if anyone affiliated with or a part of the Illinois Policy Organization has made any money on administrative fees from the state's previous scholarship program.
No.
You're sure?
Yes.
Oh, 'cause I know Illinois Policy is involved in a lot of
Advocacy.
interesting organizations. So.
Yes, advocacy.
Okay, you can call it that, but yeah, I don't think I'd be in support of this. I was in support of the last referendum we did, which was a binding referendum, and that was for the mental health board. I believe that was a very partisan vote, and it is helping people in our community, and I think we're going to hear from our executive director today. So thank you very much.
If I could speak briefly, just addressing the last two comments. As a resident of Will County, it is somewhat discouraging to hear the members of our board advocating for less transparent and less public methods of interacting with our civic officers. I do believe that there is strength and power in allowing these things to be made public, and I don't believe that they should be limited only to one-on-one conversations between individuals and legislators. I do believe that it should be something that the community as a whole can see and discuss together.
Ms. Plowman, are you here on behalf of the Illinois Policy Institute or as a resident of Will County?
I am here on behalf of the Illinois Policy Institute. I am sorry if I should have kept those separate.
All right, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes.
Member Butler.
Questions? Thank you. Thanks for bringing this to the board. So there's already a program like this in place at the federal level,
This is the program that's in place at the federal level.
Right,
We have to
but-
opt in.
but we want to change it.
No.
No, okay.
No. So what it is the program that was in place it was just passed this last summer. They're still working on the rules. It won't be rolled out until 2027. But one of the stipulations of the way that it was passed is that states have to opt in to receiving the funds. Now, there's no opt-in for being a part of the tax credit itself. Everybody in all 50 states will be able to do that, whether we like it or not, starting in 2027. But in order to receive the money that is made from that, we need to opt in to this program that already exists. It's the same program.
So other states are already in the process of opting in, or have other states already opted in?
Other states have signaled that they are going to opt in. However, the actual opt-in process is not yet open.
And in those other states that already went through the legislative process, and is that it, or?
No, again, like I said, none of that process has started yet. So this has all been governors signaling that they intend to opt in. Or in some cases, legislatures, kind of like what I'm assuming is in the bills that were proposed here in Illinois recently, signaling their support or opposition for opting in.
So you mentioned earlier that there was now if people donated, it just went anywhere, and if you didn't opt in, it would it could go to another state, and the people that in your state would not get in. Get the
Correct.
funds. Is that?
Yeah.
He's gotten way better. I said,
So
every single
why do
meeting,
you feel it's important for
he walks
kids
in
to
and
have a
talks
choice
to
in their
her, you know, or
education?
Mahoney. He goes through that door. and left,
Well, because,
and she
well,
goes,
I'll share this.
I said,
I
"What is it,
come here
folks?"
today as a graduate of all three kinds of education that would be applicable for this. I was homeschooled when I was young. We went to a private school when I first started high school, and then I ended up graduating from a public high school downstate. And so I know firsthand that even within the same family, based on just different situations, different times in life, that one educational size does not fit all, and that even something as simple as just like circumstances that change from year to year can change what is best for your child. I also have a coworker who has 3 different children in 3 different kinds of education, one who is being homeschooled, one who is in private school, and one who is in public school. And so the benefits of flexibility are, I think it's just a universal good.
I agree.
Okay.
Does so the resolution here, is it enforce anything? It's
No.
just asking a
No.
question, right?
Correct.
And we're just asking for the public's opinion.
Yes, but like I said before, I also believe that this will be one of the more impactful referendums because it will give Governor Pritzker an opportunity to see what his constituents think about this in a way that I don't believe other forms of communication necessarily would.
Well, sure, numbers matter.
Yeah.
And I think I'm personally a strong believer in listening to the people. I think a lot of bureaucrats like to just let, politicians and staff run everything. And they forget that technically it's the people who are supposed to run the government.
Mhm.
So a simple message from a referendum like this is a powerful signal. It's an important signal. It's a lot of parents answering a very important question. And I honestly believe that giving children the right or the ability to pick their education or to have avenues that they wouldn't have is the path forward for peace and harmony within a country, because you could look into these neighborhoods where these kids are very poor and don't have many options, and their scope of the world is very small. And through education, you can expand that. So I'm 100% in support of this. And I can't think of one rational reason why we wouldn't support something like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. I'm going to switch over to Executive Committee Member Newquist.
Thank you. I know you mentioned transparency before, and that is actually one of the things that concerns me about this program. And just full disclosure, 12 years of private school here. So one of the things that I have not been able to find any information out about, and maybe you can provide some, is how is the money going to be distributed among the states? I mean, like right now, Illinois currently contributes far more in federal tax dollars than we receive back in benefits. So that's one concern that I have. And the other concern that I have is, what is the criteria for the SGOs? I mean, admittedly, we only have a couple here now, so that would presume that we would have to establish some new SGOs. And I haven't seen the criteria for that anywhere. And that is my concern, that I think Member Hickey mentioned we don't have very much information really about the program itself, even though it has a very lofty goal.
Sure. So as to the first part of your question, how much will come back to Illinois? You're right that we don't know that unless we choose not to opt in. If we choose to opt in, we know that the answer is zero, and it will increase the amount of money that Illinois is sending out and not getting back. As for the qualifications, I will read this answer from my coworker Jim that I believe was in an email to the board here. Any 501c3 can file for status as an SGO under all provisions that they operate under the federal guidelines, including distributing 90% of all incoming donations out as scholarships. We would encourage all public school foundations to convert to an SGO in order to allow for donors to receive a tax credit and tax deduction on their personal filings.
So she's gonna follow the Democrat mantra.
On again, sorry.
Yep.
Sorry about that. I did read that, but I guess what my question is, it says people could apply to become an SGO. Who's going to decide, who's going to approve an organization as an SGO, and based on what criteria?
I'm not sure of the exact board that they file with off the top of my head, but I believe what I've just read is the criteria, that is literally all it is. You need to be a 501c3 and you need to give 90% of your donations
at
back
us
in the
at
form of
And that's it,
scholarships.
that's the
I believe
criteria.
that is all.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. I know Member Berkowitz and Member Bullock have been waiting, but I'm going to try to do better here and keep it to the committee
Should
first,
be.
and then I will go to non-committee members. So Member Hickey, this is your second comment. Please be a little
When
bit
Moose
brief.
was in
Thank you.
charge, we would compromise and they would compromise, not on
so
everything. but on
My
some.
understanding is the SGOs have to serve more than
More
10
normal.
students, and they cannot be students that all attend the same.
That is correct. I apologize. I forgot about that stipulation. The other stipulation I wanted to mention too, by the way, and this is also still somewhat up in the air in Treasury rules, but one of the other reasons that we want this so early is because the governor has to approve a list of SGOs. So even if an organization is filed as an SGO, if they're not on the governor's list, they wouldn't be eligible for this program. what is up in the air with the Treasury Department is whether or not the governors will be required to put on the list all SGOs in their state, or if they will pick and choose.
Okay. I think that's great. But when we're talking about, a way of making sure the money stays in a community, we're talking about, using public school foundations, and all of those students couldn't be receiving scholarships from the same organization, from the same SGO. I'm hearing, though, again, I am a fan of investigating any ways to enrich our schools and to make sure that people have what they need. I have not heard that there is going to be a scholarship that can take a person from a household with a low income and make sure that they can pay $9,000 annually to, attend a private school. I haven't heard that.
We don't know. but I mean, she's
I
not
haven't
working.
heard that
Well, she is, she's-
how the equity is in who is being chosen. And I mean, I read a lot of information about there's going to be priority given to people who've been previously in the program in subsequent years, and also to siblings. So
I can see
there's
finishing
just
her
a
term.
lot of nebulous stuff here. And I really want to be
Don't
behind this
show up.
because believe me, I understand. If we see a tax credit and a way to help our schools, I'm down. But I just don't think that we know enough to put this to referendum
think
right
the
now. That is
Democrats
my
can
feeling, but
say
I
that?
really appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. New member Williams, Leader Williams.
Thank you. I agree with Member Hickey. I would like to see us be able to utilize other forms of money besides just property taxes as well. However, if we're going to let the people decide on something, we should have more information than what we have. We don't know who would benefit from this necessarily. May not be some of our students. It may be some of our students. We don't know who these SGOs are. We don't know a whole bunch of stuff. So if we're going to put something to referendum to let the people decide, the people should have a lot more information than that before trying to make a decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Second time, Mr. Butler.
So I just, for clarification again, this is the concept. This isn't the actual law or rules that would be put in place, correct?
Why
So
somebody
we're
else-
asking for the opinion of the
Two
people
reports,
on a
50 people
concept
there will do it on two.
to help kids get scholarships.
Otherwise,
Basically, yes.
Oh.
Do you want me to read the
is he
referendum
on any
as it
committees?
would be written?
Uh,
That's fine.
They have a
Well,
copy.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
just, that's good. And then,
Talk about the.
I'd also like to say that I agree with, Member Newquist. I mean, it's, we're a donor
Then you
state.
gotta get, somebody.
We
in
know
inside
that, and, so I'm glad she pointed that
finance
out.
to be
But
on
but
the other
opting in keeps that money in our state. It's the opposite. It does exactly what we need, what we want. We want the funds that we are contributing to go towards our people. And it may not stay within the borders of this county, but it does stay in our state. And I think it's an important message that everybody, in the state take up this cause. And remember, this is money that people are donating. It's not people, not tax money that, people are donating this. And I know that, there are some tax credits applied to this, and maybe that's what people are worried about, that, somehow that happens. But it just seems to me that there's enough here to ask a question. There's enough information here to ask a question of the people. So thanks again for bringing this. I think you've done an excellent job explaining this, and this is a very worthy cause.
Thank you.
Leader Richmond, new member.
So
God bless
this
her.
isn't a tax.
Hey, but
It's not going to be blanketed. Everybody's going to pay.
you don't get
This is
it.
voluntary. This is going to be something now when I fill out my tax returns or that, I'm going to say, I want X amount, or I can write a donation or whatever I want.
He's doing
So it's
whatever
totally up to the individual
in his best interest.
if they want to participate and how much they want to participate by.
Yes, and actually, you've just jogged something in my memory that I think will help a lot of people with some of the things that they're struggling with in this room. So you can write off the donations. And the donations can be given to specific scholarship granting organizations, or at least that's how it worked under Invest in Kids. You would give money to a particular scholarship granting organization, and then you write that off on your taxes. If it does work in that way, I might need to double check some of that. But hypothetically, I believe you could donate to, like, if the public school foundation here in Will County turned itself into an SGO, you could donate to that SGO and then get that written off on your taxes.
Well, then put it
I
like
may
this,
need
you
to
sit
fact
there
check
and
that,
talk
but
anybody
it has just jogged in my memory that that is how it worked under Invest in Kids, was that you donated specifically to scholarship granting organizations.
So this would be money coming from people who could make up their own mind whether they want to or don't want to donate, and or have the financial means or wherewithal just to take advantage of some potential tax breaks.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. Okay, Member Berkowitz, thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Chair Van Dyne. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So the Educational Choice for Children Act is an incredible opportunity that our parents deserve. This is not about equity. It's not about curriculum. It's about providing an opportunity for our children, our students. As a parent who has experienced both the public education system and the private school system, I feel that we must ensure that our parents have the opportunity to pursue the type of education that they feel will benefit each individual child. This resolution is our voice to the governor that we support the parents and educators in Will County, and not only in Will County, but in the state of Illinois. This board should empower our parents, give them a choice, give them the opportunity to receive financial assistance, for they know what is best for their children. If our board walks away from this resolution today, you're sending a message to the parents and to the educators that you don't support their participation in a critical program, the opportunity to participate in a program that many people throughout the country are going to be able to enjoy. We need to allow them to benefit from these scholarships that are generously donated by the taxpayers. If the committee does not support the scholarship program, taxpayers and parents will have a legitimate question to the members of this Will County Board.
That's all of our.
Why don't you think that the residents of Will County should benefit from this federal program? I support this resolution, and I ask that members of this committee approve the resolution and send it forward to the full board. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
I don't know.
We have a new member pop up. I apologize, Member Bullock, so I will go with Member Winfrey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe we've heard all sides of this argument. I would like to call the question.
Democrat vote. At least I don't know if they both come in the.
Is there a vote needed?
There. Yeah,
That's why they call it the Lincoln Way thing, but I mean, do they actually, I think they care more about New
I
Lenox.
think, I do believe we do have a first and a second for the resolution provided. Kevin, maybe it was overlooked.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
We'll just wait for verification. Just,
Certainly.
we have one posted up
like the arrows.
on the screen.
Stop talking, Dan.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to call the question by Winfrey. Is there a second? Second, Trinier. Now, this is a roll to call a question. Winfrey first and Trinier second.
Yeah, we don't have a choice.
Yes. Oop, I'm sorry, I turned her off. There we go.
Richmond? Williams? Butler?
This is all gonna be very interesting coming up.
Actionable
We have-
item that we're voting on, or
We
we're
have a
making a
Republican
recommendation
that's
for the board to
running
vote on
against,
something?
Jackie Jenner too, don't we?
I'm being told it's a recommendation to take to the full board.
So,
I just think the
Maybe
idea
he
to call
gets
a
one.
question on a committee that is supposed to debate something to save time before bringing it to the board is not productive. So I'm gonna I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Freeman? Hickey?
so
Newquist?
it's, this
Oxley?
is the tail end now where I turn it off in a
Trinier?
minute. It's,
Winfrey? Van Dyne?
about an hour
Yes.
long. It's
Motion carries.
Motion carries to call the question,
2
so
hours long.
I would like to ask a roll to pass the Educational Choice
No,
for
it's
Children
50
Act,
53 minutes long.
to place the resolution on the full county board. Moved by, oh, we do, yeah, so I'm asking for a roll, yes.
Richmond?
Yeah, you
Williams?
just said it's gonna get placed on
Butler?
Yes.
the full county
Freeman?
board.
Hickey?
The,
Newquist?
that thing
Oxley?
that they voted no to.
Trinier? Winfrey?
Well, that's what he just said,
Van
but I
Dyne.
don't think,
No,
I think he made a
Motion
mistake.
fails.
motion fails. All right, well, thank you, Ms. Plowman, for coming in. Thank you for the healthy discussion, Executive Committee. We will be moving on now to new business.